Hello guys. Bunnyworks here. If you already did the world quest A Land Entombed, you can skip ahead to minute 6 of the video. If not, then stay tuned. The quest gets triggered when you find one of the 3 volumes of the ancient investigation journal. I picked up the one in the secret room in Starglow Cavern. Then there's the one in front of the secret chamber south of the statue of the 7 down the big hole. The last journal is south of Starglow Cavern on the outside, in a square swimming pool. If you've come across the area, you know which one I'm talking about.
Let's go. Let's go.
To get to the journal, activate the 4 ruined braziers to drain the water. As you can see, I've done it before, so I can't show you. Just make sure both Sealies finish at the same time, so be fast. Then, activate the ruined braziers. Standing from the ruined grader's point of view, start with the Sealie on the right, the one in the middle and the Sealie on the left. Don't sprint or you'll get the timing wrong. Immediately after activation, the ruin grader will wake up. Beat him up and the cellar will unlock with 3 treasure chests waiting for you. Also, if anyone knows why there's a scarlet quartz in the cellar, please share in the comments. Is there another puzzle I missed?
Ancient Investigation Journal. Part 1. The weather remains inclement today. Although the snow and wind are beginning to subside, one is hard-pressed to keep their eyes open when faced with the occasional gusts that still whip up. Such conditions bring to mind an ancient verse, where wind and snow are likened by the poet to the lashes of a pale iron sword. But just as Master Landrich once said, one must press on, no matter the difficulties met along the way. We must return to Mondstadt bearing great achievements. Only then will I live up to Master Landrich's expectations and bring honor to my family's name. And only then will the arrogance of those who conspire to rebel be put to rest once and for all. Based on an inscription, we decided to abandon our original plans of exploring the cellar at the southwestern ruins in favor of going to a locked secret chamber. According to the inscription text deciphered by Master Eberhart, the chamber should contain impressive ancient frescoes along with weapons forged from star silver. If that's the case, this could easily be the most significant archaeological discovery in decades. That's what Master Ingbert said, at least. But somehow my heart still can't forget the companions we lost in the snowstorm just days before. I sincerely hope that Master Eberhart was right when he said that they were aristocratic children rigorously trained from childhood and perfectly capable of making their way back to camp on their own. We shall soon set off from South Base Camp to delve further into the inner reaches of the ruins. This time, it is imperative that we closely examine the stability of the ruins before we enter. Ancient Investigation Journal. Part 2. Due to the tragedy that befell us previously, I fear that my prior journal entries are now all but lost. It is most unfortunate that the investigation notes were lost, but the conditions here are truly dangerous. Alas, we were unable to budge those great doors. In the end, we returned empty-handed, with no sight of the fresco or the ancient weapons which Master Ingbert so greatly desired to see. Upon returning to South Base Camp, there was still no sign of the others who had gone missing in the snowstorm. Although the chance may be a slim one, we can only hope that they made it down the mountain and are now returning with help and more supplies. It certainly wouldn't be long before our remaining supplies run out. As cruel as it may seem to say such a thing, the cave-in that occurred just before the round doors of the secret room not only robbed us of Nick, but also all the food and fuel he was carrying. I had said that it is imperative we first check the structural integrity of these ruins. I clearly remember telling him that perhaps the streak of unfortunate incidents we've encountered in the past few days has caused me to turn bitter. Or perhaps this is simply the natural toll such desperate conditions take on people. The fact that Master Eberhart could maintain a level head even in the face of such adverse conditions only made all the more admirable. Perhaps this is the true tenacity of a young aristocrat. Master Landrich's judgment seems to have been well-founded. Even as an illegitimate child, he is quite capable of living up to the role of an aristocrat, more so than most other aristocrats. In fact, when the storm eases a little, we will proceed to the cellar in the southwestern ruins. As per Eberhart's proposal, based on the content of what he deciphered, there may be something very ancient within. The sheer cold of this place has the peculiar and incomprehensible effect of preserving things the way they are. We must not let down the companions we lost, and more importantly, we must not let Master Landrich down. Otherwise, I will most likely be facing off against monsters in the gladiatorial arena. Before too long, even if I beat the monsters, I would probably share the fate of Eberhart's slave and meet my demise at the sword of the red-haired reaper of the Lawrence clan. Ancient Investigation Journal. Part 3. Does the history of this place make the scenery look bleaker? Or is the bleakness of the scenery here responsible for its grim history in the first place? Could it be that I'm only having these thoughts because of all that has happened during this investigation? Or perhaps I'm starting to lose my wits due to the loss of the sheer cold? Whatever the answer, one thing I'm fairly certain of is that this will be my last journal entry. In the end, Eberhardt's plan failed. In fact, no, I rather think he succeeded. In hindsight, his actions are all too clear. I'm surprised none of us saw what he was doing, and now I think about it, I fear that the companions we have been separated from along the way will have already fallen victim to his treachery. The cave-in in front of the secret room with the round door was surely all part of his plan. Only at the very end, when he led Master Ingbert and me into the cellar in the southwestern ruins and took out his polearm, did I finally understand his talk of a lost civilization buried beneath the snow and a power descended from the heavens were just a means to an end. He knew Ingbert loved the idea of exploration and adventure, and used this to lure him To a deserted place where no one would be able to help him when all is said and done. This all comes down to him being an illegitimate child. The polearm is an inelegant weapon, unbecoming of an aristocrat. I wonder if he secretly trained to use it for the sole purpose of killing his master here, clearing one more obstacle from his path towards dominion over the clan. Now I think about it, Master Parsifal's disobedience, love of chivalric play acting, and eventual departure must surely have been encouraged by him. Behind the scenes, the image of Ingbert being struck by his polearm is one I shall never be able to get out of my head. We all grew up together, but none of us saw beyond the kind and gentle facade. To the monster he was inside. Landrich was already planning to bestow the clan name upon him after returning from the investigation anyway. Maybe if he'd known of his plans, things never would have turned out this way, or perhaps he did already know of his plans, and that was precisely what prompted him to take this opportunity to move himself one step closer towards the front in the line of succession. I am sorry, Priscilla, for I will not make it back to Mondstadt. Whoever reads this, please warn Landrich. Eberhart is badly injured too, but there is still a chance he will make it back to Mondstadt. And if that happens, there will only be one more obstacle left for him on his road to revolt.
The journals keep mentioning a secret chamber. Supposedly, it contains ancient weapons. 2. Open the chamber, 1 Harry Potter is required. Just kidding, you need to find and read 8 stone tablets. I've got 6 lit up and I haven't found the other 2. After much head scratching and rolling on the floor, I caved and asked Uncle Google. Apparently, there's another secret chamber with 1 of the stone tablets inside. You need 3 boxes to open the secret chamber. As usual, I have 2 of them and the last box is the princess box, which is why I need to beat 3 cryomages under 1 minute. And I'm getting my butt kicked. Why is there a time limit anyway? Is it impossible without doing co-op? Are you as stubborn as I am? Fun fact, this is my 3rd time failing. Sorry about that. Back on topic, who is Eberhart? From the journals, we know that he's the illegitimate son of one Master Landrich and killed his half-brother, Ingbert. You know who he reminds me of? Littlefingers. A swarmy and sly insert insult here. From what I've read, Mondstadt nobles before Venti and co. kicked their butts were a real piece of work. Drowning people, killing brothers. I'm kind of glad Venti waged war though. I can't really imagine him being violent. And personally, I don't like Eberhart, especially after I read the artifact description for the Gladiator's finale set. The artifact belonged to a young slave that Eberhart used. Tone. I used past tense because it was confirmed that the slave died before their investigation started. The second part of the journal mentioned it. Here's what I think happened. Eberhart was an illegitimate child, coveted the heir position, had started planning by getting rid of his rivals and to gain his father's trust. The rebellion against Mondstadt nobles had been brewing for a while then, which was why Eberhart had called out for an investigation based on old scriptures to get rid of Ingbert. The war hadn't happened yet. The webtoon makes it look like it was quick. But maybe it had took them maybe a few years before the war happened, but nobles aren't that dumb. Perhaps they noticed the unrest earlier but choose to believe in their noble bloods or something. That there's no way peasants would rise to revolt. Landrich probably sent his sons to get the ancient weapons to get the lower caste back under control. It must have been really bad if they were relying on an old legend. Eberhart probably died on his way back, or maybe he got involved with the Kenraya fellows. Maybe he's Kia's great-grandpa? Who knows? Either way, I doubt he managed to gain anything even after killing his brother. Had he survived, by the time he managed to get back to Mondstadt, the rebellion would have been over and his position wouldn't mean anything anymore. That would be frustrating. Well, who do you think Eberhart was? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Suppose you had liked my video. Do consider subscribing or click like for future content. Alright then, Bunnyworks clocking out.